back with episode 5 of ICOPOD. I'm Bob Conley Jr., and joining me as always is Austin Skinner.
The man, the myth, the legend.
You're really selling yourself strong on that. So this week, we had to skip a week of Raw because it was preempted.
Yeah, friggin' dogs, right? The dog show. Yeah.
Which apparently got a higher rating.
Are you surprised?
Nah, a little bit.
Bunch of bitches on TV, I'd be watching too.
Wow. Were they bitches in heat?
Wow.
That would make some great TV.
Why do you think it got rated the way it did?
That's a fair point. But before we get into everything, I mean, if you want to send us feedback or comments, you can send it to icopodcast@gmail.com.
Are they picking up on that gimmick, Bob, or what?
Well, I think only one episode's been out with that information.
Don't rub it in.
Okay. I'm just saying. But no one has yet. So thanks a lot. I feel really important.
Yeah,
about
what
it.
a bunch of jerks.
Yeah. No one even listens to this. Anyway.
Right.
All the stats is just...
It's just us playing it.
Yeah.
Like, I literally took a plane to Honduras and hit play.
I'm actually from Germany.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that ICOPod podcast at gmail.com and ICOPod on Facebook. You can check us there. But this week, we actually, despite the week hiatus of Raw, we actually have quite a bit of news and stuff from syndication. On February 6th edition of Superstars, Jim Duggan had his showdown with Yokozuna, in which the match had stipulations attached to it where if Duggan just simply knocked down Yokozuna, he would win the match. Now, recently I found the match on YouTube, and I passed it along to you, Austin. What did you think of the showdown on the February 6th edition of Superstars?
So you passed this along to me, and I, of course, head right over to YouTube and check it out. And the first thing I notice is that the play bar says it's 13 minutes long. And right at this moment, I'm motherfucking you, Bob. Because we get 13 minutes of a knockdown challenge. Now, this is before I press play.
Okay, so you don't know.
I don't know what I'm about to tune into, but I'm pissed off that it's 13 minutes long.
You don't like Duggan and Yokozuna for 13 minutes?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
With that said, I pressed play. Immediately, the commentators are putting Yoko over huge here during his entrance, which is drastically different than his Raw appearances. Because on Raw, they're making him out to be pretty much a joke on commentary. So that was very refreshing.
Well, I think you got to compare who's on commentary.
Of course.
You know, Raw has Bartlett and stuff.
Right.
And then Superstars kind of has...
Well, you got Lawler and...
Is it just Lawler, Vince, and Savage? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I mean, I guess Lawler maybe has that much of an influence, I guess.
Right. So I appreciated that right off the bat.
Okay.
Going into it, we get a backstage gorilla position promo with Hacksaw, which he pretty much makes reference to like the U.S. military taking down bigger threats throughout history and winning, and he's going to do that tonight with Yoko. Okay, fair enough. You get a nice little Hacksaw promo in there. Mm-hmm. He made his entrance to a huge reaction.
I noticed that.
Like notable.
Yeah.
Notable. And there were some really good visuals of like the flags and the opposing forces clashing. Vince even put over this as like East versus West,
Right.
which I thought kind of had a nice tone to it. They're making a storyline out of one match, which is kind of cool. But going into it, we return from a commercial with a stare down where Duggan is visibly taller than Yoko, which kind of took away some of his invincibility for a minute for me because I didn't realize, like, I feel like we keep seeing Yoko against taller guys, and it's making him look a little bit smaller, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yoko against taller guys? I mean, for what we've seen, it's been mostly just jobbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, here specifically, I guess, but I feel like there's been other instances where maybe flashbacks or something where they're showing Yoko, and it's like, he keeps looking short and, like, stout. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I can think of was... like Virgil. He fought Virgil at Survivor Series 92, but I don't think Virgil...
Well, how tall is Duggan? Do we know?
Not off the top of my head.
He's over 6 foot.
I guess I could look it up real quick.
He's over 6 foot.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Because I feel like, I don't know if Yoko is.
No, I don't think...
Which is like a 500-pound guy.
This is the first time I'm doing research on the air.
Well, we're breaking the fourth wall, man. I was trying to put you over as somebody who would know, but now you're ruining it.
Wow. Well, Jim Duggan's Canadian, so.
Well, regardless. We'll let you look that up.
Oh, that's a lie. He was born in Glens Falls, New York.
Wow. Now you're lying to our audience, too, Bob.
Duggan's 6'3". I was going to say 5'11", 6 foot.
Are you freaking kidding me?
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
That's what it says.
5'11". Get out of here with 5'11".
I'm not good.
All right, so yeah, for me, like I said, it kind of took it away a little bit. Like, oh, Yoko's not really that big.
His build height is 6'4".
There's no way. There's no way. Duggan is visibly taller. I noted it. Yeah, there's no way he's 6'4". Nonetheless, I was a fan of this opening. I think Duggan has a pretty good chance to knock Yoko down pretty easily, especially with how over he is with the crowd and the momentum in his corner.
I noticed that the announcers were giving him no shot.
No, well, right.
At first, when it first started.
Right. I was.
Oh, you were giving him no shot?
No. I was giving him, like, he's going to easily knock him down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I hate Duggan for his silliness. Like, the match starts with both men charging at each other with Duggan, like, flying off Yoko's mask, which is
overselling it.
Right. And then King was hysterically laughing at Duggan on commentary because Duggan kept rushing in and Duggan would go down. He went down for a second time. I just feel like, kind of like you said, it's a little bit of an oversell. It's just very cartoonish and, like, dated the way he performs, say, on the selling aspect of it and all that stuff.
I mean, he might be just trying to get Yoko over.
I guess.
I think this is one of the biggest confrontations for Yokozuna to this point.
I agree. It gives, it's credibility.
I mean, aside from the Rumble thing with Savage, I mean, even dating back to his debut, he hasn't had big matches. So this is, I would say, the biggest confrontation.
And it's got a good little story built around it.
Yeah, but a really hot crowd too, though.
Yeah,
like, they are
they're eating
going
it up.
Nuts about
yeah, they're eating it up, which I noticed too. In the beginning, of course, there's a lot of stalling and posing. I fully expected Duggan to knock Yoko down on the third time. That's like a wrestling thing, of course. He finally knocks him down after ducking a clothesline. The match ends, quote unquote, with Duggan saluting the crowd on the turnbuckles. Yoko grabs the salt bucket from Mr. Fuji. And King quipped on commentary that Duggan was fixing to get Pearl Harbored.
Good taste.
Which kind of surprised me.
I know. I when I was watching it, my eyebrows I rose up.
Yeah. Because only okay. Now picture this. We're already putting over the fact that it's like Japan versus America.
Yeah.
Not only is that like visually, but now on commentary they're making references to World War II and Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Now I get it. King is there to kind of stir the pot a little bit. But holy shit.
No, I agree.
That had to piss off some veterans right there.
Well, we'll get into that shortly after this.
But yeah, other than that, Yoko was okay. So here's where I'm at with the bucket thing. For me, Yoko resorting to using the bucket on Duggan kind of takes away from his physicality and the fearsomeness that's tied in with that. I feel like you got this huge guy who's built up as this monster, and then he's resorting to have to use a little salt bucket to attack a guy.
You're taking it like as a coward move?
Yeah, and like Yoko is a huge, like he doesn't need the little salt bucket. Like why isn't Mr. Fuji getting in the ring?
I was just thinking that.
And salting him instead. You know what I mean? Why is Yoko doing
I was just thinking Fuji could do that.
Right. I just feel like it made him look kind of like a J-Bron. Like you're a big monster, but you got to use a little salt bucket. After everything that you've done already. You know? So I didn't like that part of it. Sure enough, Yoko throws the salt in Duggan's eyes and follows it up with a huge belly-to-belly suplex and leg drop, which I love both of those that Yoko throws. Yoko finished the attack with 3 bonsai drops, and I did not expect to see Duggan after this for some time. Like, I figured they were either trying to write him off or, like, we're not going to see him again for a while.
Yeah, I took it as if maybe he was going to a different company.
Right.
Like he wasn't re-signing with
Yeah, you're not
WWF.
seeing him again. Yeah. So I noted that as well. There was great camera shots of kids like so distraught in the crowd after Yoko finished and Fuji draped the American flag over Duggan's body. Lastly, Yoko hits that final bonsai drop with the flag over Duggan. And I just thought the whole thing, I put it this way, from judging it at the 13 minutes before press and play, this for Yoko was a centerpiece moment. Like, it put him over as a heel huge.
I think it's absolutely huge for him.
Huge.
It gives him a lot of momentum. And then what really comes out of this is I think you forget that he technically lost.
Oh, absolutely you do. Absolutely
You don't even pay attention to that.
Exactly.
I know for myself as a 4-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid at the time, I have the magazine now behind you on the shelf here.
Yeah.
But I remember looking through the magazines, or the magazine at the time, and they had a special feature on him on this moment. I want to say it was either April or May 93 magazine. I don't know for sure, but I know Hogan's on the cover of it.
Right.
And so as a kid, I'm looking through, and so that's 93, 94 maybe when I was looking at when I got it. And I was, because at the time, Duggan's still a big name.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm looking through.
He's got a ton of fans.
Oh yeah.
Like, people love him.
Yeah, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, wow, Duggan got destroyed.
Yeah.
By who? And I see Yokozuna, and instantly I'm thinking, this guy's a monster.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's no one's gonna beat him.
Right.
What he did, look what he did to Duggan. And Duggan's not a small guy, obviously, 6'3".
Right.
Probably 270, 280 muscle.
Right. At this time, sure.
Yeah. And the feature in the magazine is really nicely done because it focuses on Duggan bleeding from the mouth, things like that. And as an impressionable child, I'm thinking there's no way Yokozuna will lose to anyone in the foreseeable future.
Right.
Especially at the time if he's going against Bret Hart.
Right. Right.
So
it's literally to the point, Bob, where fans are spitting at Yoko as he's leaving.
Well, you mentioned
they're spitting on him.
Oh, sure. You mentioned kids that they're focusing on kids.
Yeah.
But they're focusing on young adults.
They were pissed.
Oh yeah.
Pissed.
The eruption though that Duggan gets.
Right.
Insane.
I
was not expecting that to pop.
I know.
I was assuming they pipe something in. I think that's a legitimate pop.
No, it you can even tell by the audio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the crowd reaction too, the visual. Because if you pipe it in, people are on their hands like, what? But you can see people jumping.
Oh, they're exploding.
So there's two things you got to take from that. Yoko's over huge as a heel.
Yeah.
And Duggan still has credibility.
Right.
Now with the aftermath here, I don't think Yoko loses any steam.
No.
Even in defeat,
he gains.
Absolutely.
He gains.
And it doesn't hurt Duggan. Sure, you might forget he wins.
Right.
But I don't think I would take it as I can't cheer for Duggan anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And like you said, the blood out of the mouth thing. So it's definitely obvious to me, at least, where maybe if he's not leaving the company, it's going to be months, I would think, before we see Duggan again.
This seems like the type of angle, if he's not gone forever, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, you have
before he's on.
They cart him out on a stretcher.
Yeah, it came across as if it was a career-ending.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I personally thought it was a great segment. Excellent way to advance Yoko, give us some credibility.
Absolutely.
You seem to be on the same way. Unfortunately, not everybody thought that.
Really?
Yeah, because as a result of the match, there was a lot of protests from various groups that felt like the WWF was presenting stereotypes and hate, encouraging hate on Japanese people.
Well,
which kind of blows my mind because wrestling has been known to be fake.
Well, not only
a character.
That, well, yeah, you have to play to the stereotypes. That's the point of the character.
But it's storytelling.
Right. It's
not real.
No.
Like Yokozuna doesn't actually hate Jim Duggan.
Not to mention he's an effing Samoan.
Right. Like he's not even Japanese.
Yeah, right.
He's more American than Bret Hart.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right.
So when we get to WrestleMania 9, I guarantee you they'll cheer USA. Little do they know,
They're
a Canadian.
For Yoko.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, right.
Come on, Yoko, beat the Canadian. But because it's not real. It's not real.
Well, right.
So in wrestling, you can't get offended because it's not real. It's a story. Like any movie you see.
Right.
It's not real.
Right.
It's characters.
And I'm sorry, but I have to almost kind of put the commentary a little bit to blame for that too then. If that was one of the things people thought, because again, the Pearl Harbor comment. And some of it was probably a little bit out of place. But like you said, at the end of the day, you're watching wrestling for fun.
It's
right.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind when all these groups are. I mean, I get it. It's impressionable. I was an impressionable kid too.
Right.
I don't, as a 4-year-old, 3-year-old kid at the time, I don't recall ever thinking I hate Japanese people.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a little extreme to
Yeah.
assume that was the case.
I think at a very young age, I understood it's a character.
Exactly.
That someone's not literally walking around in that.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah,
there's not
Yokozuna is not in the Burger King drive-thru line.
Right. Or Doink the Clown is dressed like that the entire time.
Right.
I think I kind of understood. Even at a young age, I really feel like I understood that.
Right.
Apparently, these groups did not. As a result, a couple of stations in Los Angeles and Chicago refused to air the program.
Really?
Yes.
In LA and Chicago?
Yes.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
I would say maybe, backwoods Mississippi wouldn't play it.
Well, LA kind of makes sense because there's kind of that integration maybe with
It's
Japanese.
more of a diverse city.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess so. Still.
Yeah, it made sense to me. So, in general, I thought the segment was pretty well done.
I agree completely.
You seem to be on the same boat with
Yep.
that. So, moving on, we have other news from the Doug and Yoko segment or fiasco, judging by how you want to talk about it. So, back in January, Marty Jannetty had a match with Shawn Michaels.
Right.
And I noted that was likely the end of his career or moment there for WWF. And that is the case. It seems like he was released likely because he was passed out backstage at the Royal Rumble.
Really?
Yes.
So he was definitely hammered
He was
during the match.
He was on something.
Oh, okay.
That would be the indication. So he is gone from the WWF for the moment.
Right.
Knowing Jannetty, he's seemingly not gone for that long.
He's got a hell of a knack of being able to just crawl and
Find
scratch his
way
way back in.
Cut my pay, Vince.
Yeah.
We'll be $50 a pop. Okay, I don't care.
I'll work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put me on the show.
Yeah. Also back in January, Razor Ramon blew out his knee. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, that happens yet again but this time to Mr. Perfect. It happened
Wow.
on February 6th at the Boston Gardens in a match, ironically, against Razor Ramon.
Wow.
So it looks like two top names, I would say.
Yeah,
are hurt.
Well, especially for Perfect, that's really not good because they've been pretty heavy on him lately.
Yeah, he's got a major program with
Right.
Luger coming up here.
Right.
Over in WCW, there's a rumor that Johnny B. Bad may be leaving WCW for the WWF by March. He's likely to use a different name but the same flamboyant gimmick. What do you think about Johnny B. Bad in '93 coming to WWF?
Would he have fit? Yeah. Did I want to see that happen? No.
Yeah, when I saw that, it was curious because Johnny B. Bad in '93 WCW isn't
Nothing.
lighting the world on fire.
No.
Certainly, he's like just a gimmick,
Right.
not anything. And I feel like in ring, he got better in '94, a year maybe spring of '94.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm on board with that one yet.
I agree.
And kind of going to where fans were thinking back in '93, the Royal Rumble '93 was arguably considered a thumbs up in the Observer poll that he has
Okay.
after every pay-per-view. And Marty Jannetty and Michaels was considered the best show, or the best match on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That just goes to show that maybe people weren't watching as closely because...
I think it's a match that doesn't hold up.
Not at all.
Not very well.
Not
so,
at all.
Yeah. But I have a new, I don't want to say segment, but a new piece to the podcast here
Okay.
where I'm going to name off two shows, two house shows. It's going to be, I guess, the B team, the A team. See
Okay.
the rotation here. And if it's a show that we go to, if it's anything that's interesting to us. Because a lot of TV, translates to house shows, and maybe the shows wouldn't be that much fun.
Right.
So the card that I'm going to use for this first episode is a house show in Boston and a house show in Germany.
Okay.
So there's two different crews. So the Boston crew has Tito Santana against Skinner, Jim Brunzell against the Predator. I don't even know who the Predator is.
Yeah, no idea.
Terry Taylor and Jim Powers, Tatanka and Damian Demento, Razor Ramon versus Mr. Perfect, Steiner Brothers against the Beverly Brothers, Kamala against Kimchi.
Tim Chi. I like Tim better. Yeah.
That could be a brother.
Right.
Yokozuna facing Randy Savage, and Bob Backlund challenging Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship. How do you think about that card?
All right. Now, are those in order?
I believe so, yes.
I want to say that I would have went to see some of the later half of the card.
The undercard looks awful.
Horrible. Like, you were going through it, Bob, and I was like, yeah, there's no way I would have paid to see that.
So I didn't do the results. Maybe should I have read it result wise instead of just versus?
No, I think versus, because really you don't know the results before you're
Going
going
into
the show
it.
anyway.
Yeah. I just want to note though on the show that Tatanka versus Damien Demento match apparently went 13 minutes.
Oh dear God! All right, so on that note, yeah, I would have been skipping that one.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, this looks kind of weak. I mean, I
agree.
I'm a big Savage fan, but what's the real big draw here? I don't know if there's anything that would really draw me in here. And apparently, the attendance was around 4,000. So
not bad.
It doesn't seem like a lot of people went.
No.
I feel like Boston Garden can get a few people in there.
Absolutely.
By comparison, though, the Germany card here on the same day, Virgil takes on Repo Man. Rick Martel takes on Max Moon, who is a substitute for Marty Jannetty.
Okay.
The Undertaker and Papa Shango. The Nasty Boys take on the Tag Team Champions Money Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
The Head Shrinkers take on the Bushwhackers. Big Boss Man battles Bam Bam Bigelow. And in the main event, World Champion Bret Hart defends against Ric Flair. I feel like that's the automatic go-to.
Really?
Compared to the two, yeah.
So, okay, here's where I'm at, because after reading through that, I feel like the card's even weaker.
Well, my reasoning...
Name-wise, power name, like name value-wise?
I mean, I don't know. The first Boston one, you have, Savage,
Razor Ramon, Perfect. You got, really, Tito Santana and Boston Garden. I mean, he's had a lot of stuff happening there. The Steiners, I would have paid to see the Steiners. Kamala beating up Kim Chi, like, that sounds cool. Yoko, Randy.
I don't know. My gut's telling me the Germany one. For me, I would kind of like to see Taker Shango. I'm aware that would probably suck, but seeing Shango live would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Nasty Boys and Money Incorporated title match. I like Money Incorporated.
That's where we're different, Bob.
All right. And then Hart Flair. Maybe at the time maybe this
at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, and you'd probably want to see Bam Bam, like, holy shit, who's this new big guy that can fly around, kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
he's physical.
There is positives in Boston. Tatanka's on it, my boy.
Well, and not to mention, Boston's a lot easier to get to than Germany.
That's true. That's a fair point.
So you got to take that.
I don't know. To me, Germany just seems as if there's just more potential.
Well, and I'm peeking at your notes here. It's also a sellout.
Yes. Well, they always do very well in Germany.
Okay.
They could have nobody on that show and probably still
even
draw.
back then.
Yeah, Brett was huge.
Oh,
in
foreign,
Germany.
yeah, Europe and absolutely.
He was really big back then. Maybe still is. So, as I mentioned, there is no Raw on the 8th. So I guess our next programming would be the Superstars Wrestling Challenge, which has another pretty big development for WrestleMania 9.
It does.
Because on this edition, Shawn Michaels, the Intercontinental Champion, takes on Tatanka, who is undefeated, has not been pinned, in a non-title match.
Right.
This is also the debut of Shawn's theme song, which is sang by him instead of Sherry.
Ah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Okay.
McMahon suggests on commentary that Tatanka could be the man to take away the title from Michaels. Kind of another foreshadowing there, maybe setting up things.
Right.
Early on, Michaels bails to the floor after poking Tatanka in the eyes, but stomps on him upon returning. Cheap heel tactic there.
Sure.
Tatanka gets controlled, clotheslining Michaels over the top. Several chops after that. An atomic drop after catching Michaels on a leapfrog 2 count. Tosses Michaels to the floor. Pretty basic stuff going on. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to... So during that spot where Tatanka kind of clotheslined Shawn out to the floor, King goes... He's got red on his head, but yellow down his back. When Tatanka is, like, allowing the referee to keep him from going out to the floor.
Yeah.
Which is, like, coming from King. It's like he's the biggest yellow belly of all time. But I like that. And I have to note, too, again, looked it up on YouTube, as you instructed me to do. And seeing that it was only 6 minutes long, you redeemed yourself with me.
Wait a minute. Does that mean you're a fan of Tatanka?
No, I saw the name and was like, Bob, you bastard.
Damn it.
Because I thought this was a sneaky way of you trying to get me to watch extra Tatanka matches.
Oh, if I wanted to do that, I would send you Tatanka versus Repo Man from like Mania or something.
And then I'd send it right back to you and say, no, thank you, sir. I'll pass.
No. Yeah. So Michael's offense is relatively basic, I feel like.
Yes.
And Tatanka goes on the War Dance.
Right.
Or War Path, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a War Dance.
Right. Well, and I have to give him credit because the pace at which they always work, they must have been really comfortable in the ring together, because every time we've seen them, they're able to keep up a pretty lightning pace compared to other guys we're seeing at this time. So I really do appreciate that. Like,
well,
they're good workers.
They are pretty young.
Right.
Compared.
Right.
There was a time though where Shawn kind of does a ridiculous spin to sell a chop. He does a 360.
That's Shawn though.
I don't know. Maybe that's a note of him saying, "I don't really want to do the job.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
don't
gonna
really
make
respect
you
you, Tatanka."
Exactly.
So F you.
Which, I mean, as I'm going through the notes here, but Tatanka doesn't really have a big win. He's been undefeated for a year and a half.
Right, but
who has really beaten?
Right.
I was thinking about that before we got into the show. Maybe we've talked about it before and I just forgot. But, I mean, Rick Martel, at some point, the name value.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I was expecting a DQ finish here. Like, I did not expect a pin or anything even like that. Maybe a count out or something we'd get. Just because, okay, you got the IC champ, who you're still building up as your champ. He's still on the proving path. And then Tatanka, who is obviously going to be chasing for the belt. You're not going to have him pin your champion yet.
Well, it means a non-title.
Still.
The non-title is usually the go-to move to set up an angle and have him chase after the belt.
I hate that.
I like it because it's Tatanka. So after Shawn takes the ridiculous spin cell on a chop, Tatanka is able to duck a super kick and counters the teardrop suplex and hits the end of the trail for the win.
Yep.
Seemed like you got a pretty decent pop on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought absolutely. Again, though, I wasn't so fond of the clean win. I feel like they didn't need to do that to get done what they were trying to get done. I don't know.
I think it's the first credible win for Tatanka.
Probably.
But
at Shawn's expense, the champion.
He's not going to get hurt from it. Michaels is way capable of redeeming his heat. I feel like it's easier to get heat as a heel in comparison to get heat as a face.
Oh, sure.
So he can do any dastardly act and
get it right back.
And a prime example is Yokozuna.
Right.
In Duggan.
Right.
So,
that's fair.
The match was pretty good, I thought.
For 6 minutes? Yeah, they fit a lot in.
Fast-paced match. And I don't think I'm totally against Tatanka replacing Jannetty for the IC title feud.
No, yeah.
So I think I'm sold on it.
Looking back, Bob, almost like you've said before, 30 years, especially where Jannetty was at in his career, it probably wouldn't have turned out what you would have hoped it to be. Yeah. And we saw that at the Royal Rumble. You see Shawn and Jannetty on the card thinking, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be good. And
I just want to point out that you've been acting pretty positive towards Tatanka. So subconsciously, I feel like you're kind of getting there where I want you to be. So
no, it's Shawn. And give all the credit to Shawn.
Whatever. So it's a match we both enjoyed, I would say.
For it being 6 minutes and all the stuff they got into, and they had some really good reversal chains that they were mixing in. It was it holds up. This 6-minute match holds up.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
A good sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other news on Superstars, which I believe was February 13th. Crush made his return.
Yes.
He had been gone for 4 weeks.
Okay.
So he's back. Not really mentioned anything about concussions. So, as I mentioned before, they're kind of toning that down.
Yeah, pulled away.
Also, Giant Gonzalez had his first match, and it was a 3-on-1 handicap match. And he won the match by count out when all 3 of his opponents ran backstage.
Yeah.
They were just like, screw this, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
He had grabbed Louis Spicoli by the head, brought him in, and maybe hit him. I remember watching.
Well, he gets a choke slam on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Spicoli just rolls out, and everybody's like, we're out.
Right.
And Giant Gonzalez takes it as if he's
won.
Yeah, like he's some kind of dominator of the world. But.
Sure.
So that's all the news from syndication and outside of the Raw bubble.
Okay.
I assume. So that brings us to the February 15th edition of Raw from Manhattan, New York, and it's taped
Right.
So this was taped along with the major angle from February 1st.
Okay.
With Brutus and all that. So we start off with Brutus Beefcake, and he has pre-tape comments.
Yep.
Saying he's going to prove he's back and ready for action.
That he's 100% healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody can take him out.
Right.
He's survived it all. Mm-hmm. A parasailing accident that he just couldn't pay attention to see knees coming at his face.
Right. Look up.
That's insane. I mean, I cannot believe I never looked into that more.
If I'm Vince McMahon, I'm okay, Brutus. I'm sitting you down. You're Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Don't say it was a fucking parasailing accident.
Yeah.
Make up a badass story that you were helping an old lady get groceries to her car.
Slipped on some ice. Hit her bumper.
Not even. These, 5 thugs came up and tried to rob her.
I guess that's
beat him up.
I guess that's cooler than my bumper falling on ice and hitting his face on a bumper. That's probably more badass.
Yeah, that probably would have been worse than the parasailing accident, I think.
Probably. We also get Money Incorporated. And Ted DiBiase saying that the parasailing accident that Beefcake had will be the least of his worries.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart's there as well, and he doesn't think this is necessary. But DiBiase dismisses him and says, everything will be fine, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. I wish I could do a better DiBiase laugh, but I don't want to go wicked loud.
You don't want to oversell it because then we'll get too many listeners and our podcast will crash.
Yeah.
So
the server will break.
Right. Did you like the promos being placed here before even the opening video package?
Yeah, because it kind of gives you an idea what's going on, what's on the show.
I didn't like it.
I didn't mind it.
I don't know. I didn't like it. Because it kind of took me off guard. Because if I'm... Okay, so let's
If you're first tuning in, you're not expecting that. You're expecting the opening.
Well, I'm just going to say... Okay, so if I'm a little kid and I'm turning Raw on or whatever, and it's 1993, I'm expecting the video package to kind of play. So I got a couple minutes before I have to come in and sit down and watch, which is a nice little buffer. To whereas they're putting promos right here, it's like, oh my God, I just missed that.
Right.
Which that's from a fan watching standpoint, I didn't like that.
So if you were to step away, come back.
Right, you turn it on, getting kind of ready.
Unaware.
You know they're going to play the video package or whatever. You got a minute or two. And you've already missed these promos. It's like, shit. I would have probably liked to see that. I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid thing. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I guess I liked it. I didn't mind. I don't know. I guess I took it as maybe a teaser.
It was a good setup.
Yeah. I thought it was all right. We go right to the arena after that. I'm assuming after the opening video too. I didn't write it down, but
Yes.
Vince, Randy Savage, and Rob Bartlett, they're at ringside and they promote what's going on in the show. Savage says that God and Hulk Hogan are watching Beefcake's back tonight.
And did you notice that? So this is a dead giveaway that it's a tape because Bartlett is wearing that same outfit I spoke about last time, like the Reverend looking outfit.
You would
with the
think
white
he would
sashes.
change.
Oh yeah, like no effort is put in at all. It's the exact same outfit.
I'm assuming Savage is wearing the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming. I just noticed Bartlett off the bat because I remember mentioning it to you, like how weird it looked, and there he is, same outfit.
It's curious because you seem to pay attention to little details like that, and I'm just like oblivious.
Well,
because I honestly wasn't paying attention if he was winning. But I like that. I liked how you're so keen on that. Meanwhile, I'm just focusing so much on, I don't know, just wrestling and angles.
The overall, yeah. Well, for me, you got to think, Bob. Okay, so this is why we sat down and did this. This is the first time I'm seeing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So this is stuff I'm going to pick up on from a fan's point of view. Like if I'm tuning in again this week, oh, that's weird.
That's
He's
the same
wearing
thing.
the same costume he had on.
Meanwhile, if somebody has watched it numerous times, who cares?
Right, yeah.
Well, speaking of Bartlett, he says he doesn't say anything. And Vince asks him why. Oh, I don't want to ruin my suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
All right.
I don't know if that was supposed to be funny, but
yeah.
He doesn't add anything. I mean, he's had a couple of good lines maybe, but
A couple. I'll give him a couple.
it's just not anything
Yeah.
to write home about.
Right.
We go to our first match, and it's arguably my favorite squash team, or guys that get a squash, the Steiner brothers.
Yes.
And they take on the team of Glenn Ruth, who would, again, be the future Headbanger Thrasher,
Of course.
and Bobby Who.
Is that his
That's his
wrestling?
name, Bobby Who.
That's horrible.
And McMahon's he says, Bobby Who?
It's like a gimmick.
Yeah.
He's like, who?
Who? Bobby Who? Oh, no, that's his name, Vince. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Steiner's get a really good pop. Good reaction
Huge.
from the crowd.
I had that in my notes too. Yep.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about this match has nothing to do about in-ring, but rather Randy Savage his microphone is making him sound like he's on the radio.
Oh my god.
And it really takes away from what's going on in the ring.
Like so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
It's obviously an angle or whatever you want to call it.
But that's why it's bad, because you can tell.
Yeah.
Like you can tell. You wouldn't be able to hear him.
Yeah.
You know
Well, you never know. It's uncooked, uncensored. You never know what's going to happen on Raw.
Which I guess is probably why they did that. But
I would just kill the mic.
Because that's more realistic.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know why you're taking the focus off of arguably your top face team at this point.
That you're trying to, still build up as a serious threat to the tag team championships.
Exactly. Scott hits a pretty dangerous looking Phil Nelson suplex on Ruth.
Dumps him right on his neck with a dragon suplex.
Gotta love it.
Right on the neck. Dude, put it this way. If I saw my name on the card in the back against the Steiners, like, okay, I'm tagging with this other guy, this other enhancement guy, and we're facing the Steiners, I'm packing my fucking gear bag and taking up plumbing. Because I ain't going out there. I ain't fighting them.
I wouldn't want to.
So I feel like somebody's getting dropped on their neck every Steiner match.
And it's not even just squash matches, because at the Beverly at Royal Rumble, he dropped Blake right Rick Steiner did. Yeah, right on his neck. So it's not just enhancement guys. It's if you're on the WWF roster, I might just hurt you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Get that. I hope you have insurance. Steiner's hit a over the shoulder powerbomb top rope elbow combination on who? They look so good. It's not even. I can't even compare it to anybody. I feel like they're the best tag team by far.
Oh, easily.
In ring.
Easily.
Rick destroys who with a clothesline.
Oh,
Scott
so
tags
vicious.
in.
Yeah.
Scott tags in, hits a double underhook powerbomb. Steiner's finish off who with the top rope bulldog.
Yep.
With who on Scott's shoulders. So Rick's performing the actual bulldog as usual. I could just watch these guys beat up guys all day.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say that probably every single time that they appear.
Absolutely. And the crowd is, because they're even like doing the whoop, 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 whoop for fucking Rick Steiner even. They're over. Over is not even the right word at this time. Because not only are they some of the most, I would say, athletic guys that you're seeing.
Scott for sure.
Right. They're fucking huge and they're animals. And the crowd's loving it every time they're in the ring.
Yeah. I love it.
It's a win, 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 win. All the way around.
Can't go wrong with it. I mean, Rick. So Scott's the athletic one, but Rick, it's like this. I feel like a stiffer one. So you're getting both sides.
Yeah, yeah, and I also think that Rick hooks the people in a lot better than Scott does. Like as far as
he probably
the fans,
has more personality.
Right.
Scott's just there to beat people up.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would say you enjoyed it just as much as I did.
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, from there we get the WrestleMania 9 report with Mean Gene, presented by ICOPRO.
Oh yeah.
And so far, the matches have promoted our World Champion Bret Hart against Yokozuna, The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez, which I believe is just announced, and Crush versus Doink the Clown, which is also just announced.
Right.
So, any kind of thoughts on?
Yeah, just a couple. I feel like Gene's putting the Vegas attraction over here huge as far as like Caesar Palace goes, which. I get it. Like, okay, it's like kind of a gimmick at this point. Like, you got to see it. It's out of the world. Caesar's Palace. Like, come see it. And, WrestleMania happens to be there too. Like, okay. We could also dial 1-800-634-6698 if we want to buy tickets.
Oh.
So, put that number in your phone. But no, I also noted Gene says that Yoko is 505. So they're still
driving it, yeah.
We're still at 505. So I had to throw that in there. Other than that, like you said, we get the announcement of Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. Crush will take on Doink, which I'm kind of surprised this was announced here. I would have figured maybe that would have been something they did as part of an angle, not just announced like, hey, this is going to happen.
So just think, because we were talking about WrestleMania 9 and how it might not be that bad of a show, but this kind of made me think maybe it is a weak card in comparison to past WrestleManias. So maybe that's why it gets such a negative thing. Of course, they play very good focus on the feuds and the angles.
Well, you almost have to. Yeah, you have to. But I agree. I think as we get closer and you're able to think about it a little bit beyond the WrestleMania hype, on paper, it's Pretty weak.
Just in terms of star power.
Right.
There's been a lot of debuts recently, so there's
Right.
not that.
Right.
But I don't think it should impact the action. I think action-wise it should be good. I'm just saying in terms of star power and
Yeah.
overall excitement.
Right. At first glance, you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, Yokozuna's been here since September or something. It's
Right.
been three or 4 months.
Right.
Speaking of Yokozuna, he's got the second match on the night. So what do you got on that there, Austin?
So we're back in the arena with the two geishas awaiting Yoko's arrival. Here he's taking on Ross Greenberg, which sounds like something Chris Jericho made up.
Sounds like a guy from Friends.
Bartlett made fun of Yoko some more here, talking about his rear end and saying that the geishas better step out of the ring before Yokozuna eats them. What the fuck? Thanks, Bartlett, again, for cutting Yoko down every chance you get. Fucking A.
His commentary does nothing.
No, it hurts it. It hurts the product.
It amazes me that he lasts as long as he does, to be honest with you.
Right. And speaking of commentary, Savage is still barely on with the mic gimmick, and he's going nuts and all this. That aside, Greenberg ran to Yokozuna, who met him with a stiff clothesline and belly-to-belly to start the match off. And it looks to me like this Greenberg guy stole Beefcake's gear. Like, it's pretty much, like, kind of the same thing.
Maybe he's a big fan.
Must be.
Maybe he did steal it.
The only fan.
Yeah. I wish I could say I was a fan, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. Yoko hits a big leg drop, his classic, and some cool palm strikes in the corner. And he's just whipping this guy across the ring with one hand, hits him with a huge, like, side body splash, and then caps it off with, of course, his big bonsai drop. Another squash match. I think this is one of the more effective squashes we've seen with Yoko, especially because he's just throwing this kid around. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
He's just destroying him, visibly destroying him.
I think it's good, especially since it's coming off of the Duggan
Yes.
situation there. So, sure, he may have gotten knocked down, but he destroyed Duggan and
Right.
proceeds to destroy this guy. I agree with you. I thought it was a pretty good squash. By the end of it, though, Savage does grab Bartlett's microphone and
Yes.
switches microphones.
Yeah.
I do want to note with the Yokozuna match, though, it seemed as if the New York crowd was reacting very positively to him.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, they were eating it up, not
Really?
booing him, but
Right.
but saying, "Yeah, man, get him."
Really?
So that's an interesting thing to kind of point out. So I was really surprised. I thought for sure they'd be giving him something similar to Lex Luger heat.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
you
where
know?
we just don't like this guy.
Yeah, but they were, and I take that as an indication of them appreciating his skill set.
Hey, how could you not, man?
Yeah,
How could you not?
He's working very well for a big guy, I'd say.
Right.
Coming out of that segment, we get a special report hosted by Lord Alfred Hayes.
Of course.
Hayes is there to promote superstars and the whole situation there with Duggan.
WWF magazine as well.
Of course, how can I forget that? I'm a collector of it, for Christ's sake.
Right.
So Duggan was successful, as noted, and Yokozuna attacked him. We get words from Mr. Fuji with Yokozuna next to him, and he says that Yokozuna squashed Duggan just as if he knew he would.
Right.
And Yokozuna proceeds to yell.
Well, so I gotta say here, watching this back. So we watched the actual match before
Yeah.
this Raw.
Yep.
So, but this showed us a different angle for when the salt gets thrown in Jim Duggan's face towards the end, and you can easily see that none of the salt even gets close to Duggan's face when Yoko throws it. Not even close. Like it hits maybe his chest.
Oh, so he didn't throw it high enough?
Yeah, or like it didn't come out of the bucket far enough.
Okay.
Because then Duggan, you can see, he drops to the mat, collects some of the salt, and rubs it on his
No.
face. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It totally killed it. I was like, no, why?
I
would
wish you didn't
show
tell
that?
me that. I didn't
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah, you could easily see in this replay
Wasn't
the
paying
angle
attention.
they got. It was killed the whole thing.
So they showed that.
They showed it.
So in comparison to Superstars, you're fine.
I was totally into it.
And now
okay,
on
that was
Raw, because I do remember noticing that they were using a different camera angle.
good. They did.
Because they weren't using the hard cam, they were using one from the floor.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. So he
Yeah.
goes to the floor. He's
And you can see he's rubbing it, and then because when he stands back up, it's in his beard and stuff. It's
Yeah.
because he literally rubbed it all over his face. It's just
That's
totally
hilarious.
killed it. Yeah, I was bummed. I was like, oh,
well. I'm still gonna like the angle, the effort.
Well,
the point of what they're trying to get
yeah.
across.
Well, the finish is really good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the promo we fade in with Fuji putting over his Yokozuna, as he keeps saying
Still
it.
saying
Still saying it like that.
When do you think he'll start saying it right?
Probably never.
Okay.
Yeah, we're probably never going to hear it said right. And Yoko just screams at the end of the camera, Yosh! Yosh!
Yes.
Yosh! Like his classic little thing that he does.
Yeah.
But yes.
I was kind of expecting Yoko to actually say something in English.
No way.
I kind of thought maybe he'd say Duggan, bonsai or bonsai or something.
I would have been like okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but instead he just said hush hush.
Yeah.
Like he knows English.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Coming out of that, Vince McMahon will go to commentary.
Yep.
And Vince McMahon talks about Giant Gonzalez and how he wanted to be in the Battle Royal because there's a 16-man Battle Royal tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Yep.
However, as soon as the other guys in the match heard that news, apparently the other 15 guys or 16 guys, however many, were like, we're not doing it. If Gonzalez is in it, we're out.
Which makes them look like shit.
15 or 16 guys?
Yeah.
And they're, I mean, I get it. Gonzalez is a huge guy.
Right.
And this is the whole attempt to make Gonzalez appear as a supernatural or
Oh, yeah.
dominating figure,
Yeah.
but come on.
Right.
So they show the footage, as I noted in the notes of what Gonzalez did to Spicoli and the guys, and they run away.
I have to make note here as well. Seeing Harvey always next to Gonzalez, like in the ring, is so striking. Like this little guy.
It adds to the character.
Oh my God, huge. The visual is so good. So good.
I want to point out that Savage said on commentary in regards to Spicoli that Spicoli's face was redder than Tatanka's hair right now.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
either.
that kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
I didn't
So
even
yeah,
notice.
it's just a recap of Gonzalez and what he was up to on Superstars there.
At this point on Raw, I'm pretty sick of recaps.
You know, well, like I told you, the syndication is still a major thing. I feel
I
like
know.
until Superstars, at least, probably even into '95, because they had some really big matches in '95 on Superstars.
Yeah.
Which I've been reviewing, or I had been reviewing for a while,
Right.
and yeah, they had some pretty big matches on there. It surprised me up in hell even into '96, I think. So Superstars,
Really?
I think Superstars is considerably strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wrestling Challenge is pretty much a joke.
Right.
Pretty soon after this, I think.
Right.
Bret Hart Ico Pro ad.
Of course.
You gotta
same
want it.
one. Same one.
And then there's also a WWF figure commercial, which features the British Bulldog,
Oh, yes.
who's no longer in the WWF. He had just recently signed with WCW.
Well, and they've showed it a couple times.
Yes.
Like it keeps, and it's not only is it Bulldog's figure, but Bulldog is on the screen and like says something quick.
Exactly. Yep.
Like
That's
how would you
why I
not
pointed
hide
out.
that? Like
I don't know.
edit that out.
Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't think it was a big deal.
I don't know.
But yeah, so he had signed with WCW and he was going to be on Super Brawl
Wow.
pay-per-view, which I think is after this show.
Okay.
So it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, we get our third match, was the 16-man Battle Royal. Interesting enough, they're all on the floor, and then they get in the ring as soon as the bell sounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was weird.
I wasn't expecting the entrance type of thing from
No.
Royal Rumble, but that was...
You just start them in the ring and then the bell rings.
Yeah, or have 10 of them in the ring, or 12, and have four
And have a
entrances of the
couple-
major
yeah,
names or
A
something.
couple guys come out.
Yeah, it was just kind of seemed weird that they were all on the floor, and then they decided, okay, we'll get in the ring.
Right.
Razor Ramon during the opening stages there has interaction with Owen Hart to continue their
Mm-hmm.
angle from January. So I guess I appreciated that little continuation.
Yeah.
there. Do you have in-depth notes? Because I just have eliminations and by who did it.
So I do.
Okay.
I do. First of all, I don't understand why the IC champion is in this match. Like, why is Shawn in this match?
That's interesting you bring that up. When I was watching it, I was trying to see who was in it because I didn't look it up beforehand.
Right.
So I'm looking in the ring. I see Razor. I'm like, okay, he's not really doing much.
Right.
But then Shawn Michaels.
Shawn.
What is he doing in there?
Right.
If he doesn't win it,
That's
I don't know
stupid.
why you're in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I was confused right off the bat seeing him. And it's funny because him and Razor kind of stick together throughout the match, which is cool.
Yep.
It's because, like, backstage or whatever. I had personally no interest in this Battle Royal because we just saw the Royal Rumble. So it was just like, it was a groan for me. I think it's interesting that this is the first time we see Razor since the Royal Rumble, like in this match,
that's another thing. Yeah.
which is weird. I don't know. Like, nothing. There's like, here's Razor.
Yeah,
It's like he didn't even just try and fight for the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just thrown, lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't know why this is here. And it goes 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it felt like 30 minutes.
Yes. Very
There's-
drawn out. And
It's just a battle royal.
right.
There's nothing behind it. They could have made an angle out of it. If you win, you get a title shot against Shawn. Maybe that's why
Something.
Shawn's in it or something.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
Although we did see a point where High Energy takes on Michaels and Razor, which I thought would have been interesting to see as maybe just a standalone tag team match. 4 younger athletic guys. I'm an Owen fan. I'm a Razor fan. A Shawn fan. So I don't know. I thought that was cool, like a nice little aside. I was bummed not to see Earthquake in this match, especially after his decent showing in the Rumble.
Oh, Typhoon's in it.
Typhoon's in it. But still, I was hoping for.
Well, I'm not
Earthquake.
saying like Typhoon's a good substitute, but you're right. Why wouldn't Earthquake?
Well, yeah, right. If you have his tag team partner, why not have
the better one?
the better guy? Regardless, Savage eventually is finally like back on regular commentary. Now Bartlett no longer has a microphone, which, thank you, Randy Savage.
The real hero,
Yeah, great.
MVP.
Back to the match. I was rooting for Kim Chi the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. Because it looked like he constantly didn't know what to do or how the match worked. You know what I mean? So
That's funny.
That just goes to show you my interest level here, though. Because, first of all, you have Kim Chi in this match, who's a manager for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, for the most part.
And he keeps, like, in the background, you keep seeing him, and he's just kind of stumbling around and not really doing anything. And just the costume's ridiculous. I don't know. I like Kim Chi. So I was like, yes, God, I hope he wins.
Who do you think I was rooting for?
Fucking Tatanka.
Well, yes, but also Bob Backlund.
Oh, that's fair, because he wasn't. That's fair.
I feel like,
That's fair.
why not have Bob win?
Right. That would make sense coming off the Rumble.
Yeah. He had a great showing.
Right.
16 guys.
Right.
He lasted over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Why not win it?
Right.
But no. Do you have eliminations or no? Because I do. That might be interesting.
I have, well, just the one elimination I made note of was Kamala, because...
Well, that leads to a whole angle there.
Right. Because Kim Chi's reaction's pretty funny as Kamala is upset. He comes back into the ring and beats him up.
Yeah.
It's like when he sees Kamala, it's like his reaction's hilarious. But yeah, that's... And I definitely feel like it's the Brooklyn Brawler here under the mask.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the guys that plays. I don't know if
Right,
it is. For
because
sure.
when he's like taunting and yelling Kamala after he gets him out, it sounds like Brooklyn Brawler.
Okay.
Like the voice.
I
The
wasn't
voice
paying
sounds like
attention.
Brooklyn. But yeah, go ahead. I mean, I don't have too many elimination-wise.
I'll just go
but-
through the eliminations and then point something out. Maybe I just missed it, but here we go. So the first elimination is Iron Mike Sharp by Bob Backlund. And then Coco Beware is tossed out by Shawn Michaels with a backdrop.
Right.
Skinner tossed out number 3 by Typhoon, clothesline from behind.
Okay.
Damian Demento tossed over by Kamala. Owen Hart eliminated by Berserker.
Yep.
Owen was on Berserker's back and he just dumps him over. I thought
Right.
that was kind of a different
Yeah.
elimination
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to. Berserker tossed out by Kamala with a Savant super kick, whichever one you want to say.
Yep.
Kamala then is tossed over by Typhoon and Kim Chi, leading to exactly what you were talking about.
Yep.
After a commercial break, Kamala is still chasing after Kim Chi in the crowd.
I really like this because on Raw, it's nothing we've seen before. Like the chaos in the crowd and people chasing through the crowd and pushing their way. They even get to like the concession stand before the commercial hits.
Yeah, like the upper level.
Yeah.
Or, coming back from
Well,
commercial,
that's
upper
after
level.
commercial. Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm not interested in the feud, but doing something like that,
It's cool.
yeah, it kind of
That's
adds.
cool.
It adds to what's going on between them.
Right.
Typhoon is eliminated by Shawn Michaels after a backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
The final 4 is Ramon, Michaels, Santana, and Tatanka. Now, I want to point out, at this point, I don't remember seeing Bob Backlund get eliminated.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Or Terry Taylor, because Terry Taylor's in the match too. I'm assuming it had to have happened during the commercial.
All right. So you got Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Backlund, Berserker, Santana, Tatanka, Kamala, Coco, Owen, Demento, Typhoon, Skinner, Kim Chi, Terry Taylor, and Mike Sharp.
So that's 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I only have 12 eliminations.
Right. Was there definitely 16 guys?
I remember seeing Backlund and Taylor in it. I mean, when Gonzalez comes out, maybe that's considered the 16th, but
Oh, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
So, so the final four, as I mentioned, are those guys. I can't remember where I'm at in my notes here.
That's
but,
all right. Santana, Michaels, Razor, and Tatanka.
Yeah, so Shawn Michaels here gets eliminated by Santana. Interesting. And Tatanka.
Yeah.
Which kind of interested me that
Yeah.
Santana would get a rub like that.
Yep.
As both Tito and Tatanka kicked him off the top turnbuckle. That's when Gonzalez comes out, collides with, or sends Tatanka and Santana into each other.
Yes.
That
Yes.
That leads to Tatanka and Tito being eliminated, and you would think, okay, Giant Gonzalez won the Battle Royal, even though he's not a participant.
Right.
Little do we know that Razor Ramon had rolled out to the floor,
Exactly.
and then when Gonzalez leaves, Ramon rolls right back in
Yeah.
and is considered the winner.
Right.
Just kind of baffled me that Backlund and Taylor were seemingly forgotten about.
I don't know. And you know what else? I feel like for Razor to win this, it did nothing for him.
He has no direction.
Well, and the fact that he rolls in to win. It's
Yeah,
like,
so he doesn't even do anything.
that sucks.
You know what I would have done here with what they're doing with Tatanka Michaels is keep the match and have Tatanka toss Michaels out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just continue
Right.
another layer to that.
Right.
What'd you think of the Royal? I mean, I didn't like Battle Royal. I didn't like it.
I liked everything except the Battle Royal part of it. I liked the brawling through the crowd with the Kamala and Kimchi thing. That was well done. I liked some of the nice little kind of square offs we got. Like I said, High Energy versus Razor and Shawn was a cool little moment. Gonzalez coming out, I thought was effective because he, between Tito and Tatanka or whatever. But as far as the match itself, I feel like it was they did this just to get all those angles over at once. I feel like they wanted to jam everything together. Oh, how can we do that and kill 4 birds with one stone? We did a battle royal. I mean, that kind of sucks. I think that takes the heat off a battle royal if you're only doing it to get all these angles on the TV.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I definitely wasn't looking forward to it going into it, and kind of at the same spot coming out of it.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary.
Right.
15 minutes, let's say 3 minute per squash match. You're looking at 5.
Right.
5
That
matches.
they could have done. Yeah.
With these guys.
Right.
So,
No, I agree. I think they could have executed it a much better way.
You could even have done Kamala Kimchi.
Right. And done the same thing.
Yeah. Kimchi
Yeah.
just be, I don't want to do it.
Right.
And then run around.
And then exactly.
Different things you could have done.
Exactly.
So coming out of that, we go, I believe, right to our main event, right?
Correct.
Which is one half of the WWF Tag Team Champions, Ted DiBiase, looking to, I would assume, end the career once and for all
Yes.
of Brutus Beefcake. Austin, I'll let you have the honors of describing this, sharing your opinion.
Oh, thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thanks. First thing I noticed is the crowd just seems kind of tapped for Brutus's entrance here. He doesn't get much of a reaction, and I also expect we're going to be taking it back a couple years with this main event. It's going to feel dated and slow and probably kind of boring. So that was me going into it.
That seems like a fair idea. And the entrance part probably doesn't help that they had already seen him with his return, so you're already watering it down by having his return match the same night.
Nonetheless, Brutus strutted away from a lockup twice before a weak one got underway. So when they finally locked up, it looked weak. I did like the story here was, trying to get to the face of Brutus on the part of Ted. So he's trying to get at his face all the time. But Ted is looking pretty out of shape here. Like he's pretty thick in the gut area, which I was he was able to hide it up until this point, I feel like.
Well, he always had his coat on, his jacket on.
Yeah, so I was kind of bummed to see that. He looks really blown up here for a couple spots. Like he's just not the Ted DiBiase that he was even a couple years ago, I think, at this point. You can put it this way. You can tell that he's going to be transitioning to, hey, I'm not going to be wrestling in the ring anymore. I felt like.
You got all of that just from this one match?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Immediately. Well, because, I do like Ted DiBiase.
I'm a big DiBiase fan, but you are right. He was certainly out of shape by this point.
So Brutus takes over control, and IRS comes down to ringside. And finally, the Money Incorporated accomplish their goal by IRS smashing his briefcase into Brutus's back and getting a DQ finish here. I thought we were going to just end it at that. Like, okay, here's the DQ finish. They hit him with the briefcase.
Well, it's a really quick match. I mean, into that, it's only maybe three or 4 minutes. Yeah.
Couple minutes. However, IRS enters the ring to help the $1 Million Man put the boots to Brutus. And Jimmy Hart cautiously entered the ring behind him. I feel like I saw a turn coming here a mile away with Jimmy Hart. Just the way they're building it up. And it's like, you're kind of giving it away.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Maybe Jimmy will just take it. I'll do it.
No, Bob. I feel like that's not going to happen.
I've always hated you, Brutus. I'll just well your face.
Although he does stop IRS from hitting Brutus with the case until IRS shoves him out of the way. And IRS levels the barber with the briefcase, playing up the face injury angle, of course.
Of course.
So Money Inc., again, accomplishes their goal and seemingly re-injures Brutus, for the lack of a better term. They keep putting over the noise, the briefcase, once it hits, like what the noise sounds like. Oh, my God. So
it did make a nice noise.
It was okay.
You could hear the smash.
Well, because that's probably why Brutus probably slapped it.
Well, whatever, but I thought it was an effective angle of what you're trying to go for.
Yeah, and it was filmed good. Like, it looked like it blasted him.
Well, yeah, they certainly used the best camera angle.
Yes. Jimmy once again jumped in the ring and stopped Ted from using the briefcase on Brutus for a second time. And before leaving, Ted yelled into the camera, "Welcome back, Beefcake," which I loved. The crowd seemed genuinely concerned, though, and stunned, with the whole crowd on their feet and kind of seeing what's going on with Beefcake as he gets stretchered out. So I think that was well done, because I feel like they actually believe, shit, he's hurt again. Like, they just injured him again. So I thought it was good. I liked it.
I kind of got a different interpretation from the fans. It didn't seem as if they cared.
Really?
That it happened to Beefcake, yeah.
Well, I feel like they were quiet and kind of thinking, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, maybe the way I interpreted it was maybe they, okay.
Oh, whatever. See you later.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Beefcake.
That I do. I have that noted, and he does his trademark laugh.
Yeah.
Such a dick.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beefcake. He's on the mat holding his face, and Jimmy's just panicking, and they do the stretcher spot. They do have a close up on the blood. On the mat.
Yeah, on the mat.
But noticeably, I don't remember seeing any blood on Beefcake.
No, not at all.
So,
we don't get to see it at all.
Yeah, I mean, Beefcake's holding his face the entire time, so it makes me think as if maybe when the officials came in, somebody
probably
put it there.
Probably.
And they show various replays of it.
I wish they didn't. I wish they didn't show replays.
Sometimes less is more. Once you see it once, you're good. Like, oh my God.
And not only that, now you know it's a work because they keep showing it.
Yes.
If you don't show it and it's like, if Vince McMahon's on commentary saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry about this. Like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, this was an exhibition match."
Yeah, this was just supposed to be a return, and Ted really...
He overstepped his bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if they would have cut back on the replays a little bit, it would have sold the moment more for Beefcake.
Well, I'll tell you, at that point, I'm kind of on board with the angle.
Me too.
I feel like, okay, this is
good. Me too.
But then they immediately ruin it. Because Vince, before the show comes to a close, proceeds to say, "Oh yeah, no. So apparently, Brutus Beefcake is on his feet backstage, and he's not gonna be out of action for a long time. And in fact, he could be here next week."
Yeah.
How do you do the briefcase angle to his face, and then
stretcher him out?
Yeah, and then 3 minutes later, oh no, he's good.
Yeah, you might see him next week.
Yeah.
What?
Are you kidding me?
No, I agree.
I never probably realized that they did that, but way to just destroy,
undercut what you just did.
They drag angles out all the time.
Right.
This is one of the rare instances at this era, I feel like, when they just seemingly murdered the angle.
When you had a chance.
Within 5 minutes.
Yeah, you had a chance here to do something pretty good.
I don't know why they would rush this.
I know.
We're still, 6 or 7 weeks out from Mania?
Yeah.
Because right here is, the go-to move here is Beefcake and a partner, likely Hogan.
Yes.
Against Money Incorporated.
Exactly.
There's no reason to... You could wait 2 or 3 weeks.
At least make it seem like he might have got re-injured. Vince pretty much makes it apparent that there's no chance that what Money Inc. just did means anything.
I feel like it kills Money Inc.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They just smashed the guy with the briefcase.
But the attack, they didn't really do too good of a job because he'll be here next week.
They may be rich, but sure, they are dumb.
Yeah.
Or something.
They're not tough.
Know. Yeah. Their briefcase is plastic.
Right.
You know, it's whatever. So that just kind of took me right out of it. If they had not said anything, kept him off TV for 2 or 3 weeks.
And played it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe get emotional investment. Oh, he's okay. Right. Instead, no, he's all right.
Yep, he's good.
180 seconds later. Like, okay, thanks, guys. So from there, we were told what's going on for next week.
Money Inc. in action.
Yeah, they're scheduled to wrestle. There's also a 6-man tag match where the Nasty Boys will team with my boy, Tatanka.
Yep.
And they will battle the Beverly Brothers in the Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels. And also, Hulk Hogan could be on the program.
Oh, they teased it.
Could.
They teased
Not
it.
will.
Right.
Potentially could be.
Right.
What do you think about what they have going on for next week? Any interest there?
So the 6-man tag team announced really threw me off. I was like, wait, what? Why?
I don't know why the Nasty Boys and Beverlys are involved in it.
That's what I'm saying. Why? First of all, why aren't those just 2 separate matches? You just have Shawn and Tatanka versus, and then another match, you got Nasty Boys versus Beverly.
Yeah, judging by what we've seen, there's been no indication that there's a feud between the Nasty Boys and Beverlys.
No, not at all.
So,
not at all.
If we're taking this from the approach of first time ever, I'm going to watch WWF programming and I'm tuning on Raw from 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
Right.
These guys have had no interaction. They haven't done a Superstars flashback to suggest so. And I don't remember anything from 92, even as a diehard WWF fan,
right,
where they've had any immediate interaction. So it's kind of...
I agree. So I didn't like that part of it. I'm looking forward to Money Inc. in action because we haven't seen... I don't think they've had a match on Raw yet. Am I correct in saying that? It's starting to blend together, Bob. Isn't that bad?
No, yeah, they haven't had a tag team match.
Yeah. Well, because they've had some good promos and stuff. But,
Yep. It's just been promo work from them. Right. And obviously the singles match with DiBiase. But as a team, they have not. Which is interesting.
Well, you would think that the tag team champions would have had a match on Raw by now.
Yep. And the same thing with the world champion. He hasn't had a match yet.
Right.
Going 2 months in now, almost.
Right.
And he hasn't wrestled either. Overall, for this week's... I feel like the second half of the show, and it's only an hour program, 45 minutes. Second half of the show wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
I can appreciate the angle opportunity or development here with Money Incorporated and Brutus, but they just killed it.
Oh, I know.
By saying he was okay within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The squash matches are good. I feel like WWF can really put on... They know how to produce a squash match to enhance their talent.
For better or worse. Yeah, for better or worse. I would say I agree with you. I think this Raw was decent at best. I did like that the first half was basically Raw as Yoko. We got a lot of Yokozuna stuff between packages, promos, a match. So I think they continue to do a good job of making him look like a monster in the ring. Again, if I'm a fan, and I'm thinking there is no way that Bret Hart is beating Yokozuna at WrestleMania. There's no way.
No.
Yokozuna is going to make it look easy. He's going to destroy Bret from a fan's perspective.
I wouldn't even think Bret would last 10 minutes.
Exactly. Which, again, proves
maybe
the point.
Maybe even 5.
Right. Which proves the point of they're killing it with Yokozuna right now.
Yeah.
So I love that. The Battle Royal sucked, but the Money Inc. Brutus angle really closed out the show, I thought, pretty strongly, despite Vince's comments. And angles just continue to thicken heading into WrestleMania, which I think is always a good thing. So I think with the good and the bad, I'd put this kind of in the middle of the road for a Raw episode for me. Didn't love it, didn't hate it.
I'm trying to sell myself on it being a good episode. It might be memorable just because of what DiBiase did to Beefcake.
Right, which is what I'm thinking, probably.
Yeah, but as a whole, I think this might be one of the first times I'll say that it was an overall bad show.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it started off well. The first 20, 25 minutes is good. But I guess the Battle Royal and then the inability...
Probably cut you from there.
Yeah. So
I don't
there's
know.
nothing must-see, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless you're a big Beefcake fan and stuff like that.
Right.
See, but I feel I'm like contradicting myself because it is a major angle for WrestleMania 9. They just executed it poorly. But
I don't know. I'm still saying middle of the road. I didn't hate it. There was some good stuff that I liked seeing. But of course, I didn't love it.
I just guess I wasn't thoroughly entertained.
I think the Battle Royal plays a big part in that. I think that really was kind of the anchor for this episode.
I think if you keep exactly what they did with Beefcake and DiBiase, and get rid of the Battle Royal, I'd probably enjoy it.
Right. No, I agree. I agree on that.
15 minutes of guys wrestling for no purpose.
Right. Just to jam shit in there.
Well, and I think it was also to, on some level, put heat or get Gonzalez over more.
I guess. Yeah, because is this the first time we see him live
on Raw,
quote unquote live on
Raw, yeah.
Yeah, so there's your introduction, I guess. I don't
know. I really try to sell myself on it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I even wrote down solid show, but the more I'm thinking about it, I mean, I don't think I enjoyed it that much.
No, I agree. So.
All right. Well, next week we have all that stuff. So next week seems to be a pretty promising show.
I'm looking forward to next week's show.
Okay.
I am.
All right. Do you have anything else for this episode or no?
I think that wraps it up this week, Bob. I think we did a hell of a job, and I really do hope people out there appreciate kind of some of your notes and the syndication stuff we went over in the beginning, because I think it does help set the table a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would rather not have to talk about Superstars and Wrestling Challenge.
Well, no.
Every time, you know.
Well, when something notable happens.
Yeah, that's the only time I'll do it. I don't.
Right.
If there's a random, I don't know, Lex Luger squash match, I'm not going to make note of it.
No.
Unless something happens during.
I'm not going to watch it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably send you.
You can make note of it, Bob, but I ain't going to fucking watch it.
If I can find footage of feature matches.
Yeah.
That serve a purpose, I'm going to definitely pass them on.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
There might be some instances where I can't, so maybe I'll just wait for you to come over or something. I can show you that way or something, but. As always, I mean, you can check out our Facebook page at ICOPOD, and then anything that you are hearing us talk about, whether it's past or even in the future, send us an email at icopodcast@gmail.com. I'm always interested in seeing what you guys are thinking, whether it was you as a fan in '93, or if you're watching it just like us and maybe for the first time now or in the last couple of years. So.
Right. And we've gotten some good interactions on our Facebook thus far with some cool fans that were kind of giving us their take on some of the Ric Flair and Bret Hart stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. Would you have done a triple threat match at Royal Rumble, Bret, Perfect Flair, which I don't believe a triple threat had ever happened in WWF.
Which makes me want to say no. Because
I don't think it goes with the era.
That. Yeah, you want to save that. Could it have worked? Sure, it could have worked. It would have showed off, the technical aspect of each wrestler.
But I mean, it's
at the time I'm saying no.
I don't even know if there was a triple threat tag team match ever.
Yeah,
I really feel like ECW introduced that.
Probably the chaos of it.
Well, I mean, they probably took it. I mean, Paul Heyman probably took it from somewhere else to introduce it.
Probably Mexico more than likely.
Mostly. Maybe. I don't even honestly know the first triple threat match in WWF history. That'd be interesting to look up. I don't know when that happened.
Well, because remember they put the Fatal 4-Way match over pretty big between a couple of years from this with
in '97
and Vader and
yeah.
So I don't know. That's an interesting thing to bring up.
Maybe I'll look that up. That's interesting. All right. Well, we just went on a little different tangent there.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
As you guys will soon find out, the closing theme for this week's episode will be Money Incorporated, just because they have a pretty...
Do you like their theme, Bob?
I love their theme. I would say their theme song is 75% of why I like them.
The music. You're a big music guy.
I do. I do like the music.
Especially this time.
Yeah.
Like this area.
There's a lot of guilty pleasures of mine.
Yeah.
I don't even know if guilty pleasures. I think a lot of them are good songs.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I like their music, but I hate the wrestler. You know what I mean? So their music is really good, but they suck.
Well, I like Repo Man's music.
Me too. Yeah,
but I don't like him as a wrestler.
Right, and we went over that.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up, I think, episode 5 for us this week. I am Bob Conley Jr.
And I am Austin Skinner.
And thank you for listening to ICOPOD.
You gotta hear it.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. 'Cause the $1 Million Man